How's it going, people of YouTube, Facebook, however you might be tuning in today? Welcome to yet another segment of Matt's World, the semi-official podcast in which I talk about things around me, things around my mind, and just life in general. So, I did film a live stream earlier, but kind of goofed up a little bit, so I'm going to have to delete that one later and upload this one. Probably should start rehearsing these. But you're probably reading the title of this video, and that's what brought you here. So I'm going to read off the title, Should I Go to College? I guess we'll just go ahead and dive right on into it. So I'm not going to make this decision for you. It is up to you to decide whether or not you want to go to school or get back into school. And I'm also going to do my best not to get heated up. The school I went to, Western Illinois University, I think it's best to describe my relationship, or lack thereof, as a burnt bridge. What this video is going to be is it's going to be my experience, and I'm going to try to give you both sides of the argument here. So my experience with high school and college. Went back to school back in 2007. Graduated from high school, went into college 2007, and graduated in 2012. And now, at the time of high school, the economy was doing great. Every industry was thriving. Every industry was doing great. There was a future in just about everything at the time. The teachers in high school really did stress the importance of a post-high school education. Now, growing up, I worked in construction. I am no stranger at all to hard work. I got dragged into work when I was 8. My dad, who was a contractor, insisted I get a work ethic. I started out by hauling garbage out of job sites, and I later built up into hammering nails and cutting lumber for houses. Excuse me. And passing it up to them. I still remember that quite vividly. Someday I might have to take you guys on a tour of all the houses I helped build. That's how I learned the value of hard work and where money comes from. It afforded me things like fishing trips, it afforded me fish tanks, and paid for my model airplane addiction, which I still have to this day. And, at the time, it seemed like college was the only thing you could do. Didn't particularly like construction as I got older. It is not a fun job to be in. It's very dirty. It's very dusty. It's very physically and mentally demanding. I still remember one of my teachers asking me if I wanted to stay in construction all my life, and then telling me I should go into school and get a degree in communications, which I thought was the thing to do. The reality about college, though, is these professors will teach you things that are either out of date or what they think is going on in the industry, or they will just push their political viewpoints on you. In fact, there is a saying in academia that those who cannot do, teach. And that was a lot of what the professors at Western Illinois were like. They were either out of the loop, or they didn't really work too long in the industry, or they just knew all this, what they knew from textbooks. So, to save you a long story, got my degree in broadcasting and creative writing, ABA, and I graduated in 2012, July of 2012 to be exact, and I thought I'd be on the Outdoor Channel flipping walleyes out of Lake of the Woods in no time. But the really struck in after I left college and got my degree that I picked the wrong industry. And I mean, just think about how you're watching this video. It's not on TV and it's not on the radio. What does that tell you? Radio and TV are both dying out. So I came home from school awaiting the opportunity to come to work at a radio station. I continued to work for my dad. I still lived with my parents, and I sold things on eBay and at flea markets. I made peanuts for money. The thing about working in construction is it's a feast or famine proposition. Sometimes you're busy out of your mind, sometimes you're not working at all. And I refused to apply for any jobs that I thought were either beneath me or that I was too smart to do. After all, I had this degree hanging on my wall. I thought that I was entitled to a radio or TV job, and yep, I was that kid. The reality, though, was this piece of paper, this degree, I was stupid enough to buy a $50,000 piece of paper, is what it boiled down to. So to save you yet another story, I ended up working for the industry for about 3 months. I moved out of my parents' place, got my own apartment that was a good 4-hour drive, and was let go after 3 months. I ended up in retail. It was either a retail or go back to living with my parents. And when I got to this retail job, I found out that retail actually pays a hell of a lot better than radio. In retail, there are things like overtime, there are things like promotions, there's things like bonuses that did not exist in my radio job. As a matter of fact, it literally paid more per hour, too. I was making double the money at some points. And I have been in retail for about 5 years now, and I do get this question a lot. Why don't you go back to school? And the thing about that is I'm still in debt from student loans. I mean, just look around you. Match World, as I call it, it's a 1-bedroom studio apartment. It's all that I can afford right now. If it wasn't for student loan debt, I'd be in a house by now that I'd own. I have this on a script for obvious reasons. And so being said that, if I did go back to school, I would be digging this financial student loan situation even deeper. And I guess the other question remains, if I had to go back in time and go back to school, would I do it again? To tell you the truth, the answer is no. And what I want to leave you with this is simply this. Reflect on what you want to do. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs that do not require degrees. There are people that are making 6 figures at some of these jobs. There are things you can do like car sales. You can do a trade. You can do any sales job, really. And a lot of these jobs don't really require a whole lot of specialized skills. Well, they do, but not skills that require you to get degrees. So, if you do decide to go the degree route, do your homework, really see the past of this industry and see the future of this industry. And really go around, shop around for schools. Community colleges are cheaper. Local colleges are cheaper. Is it worth that that name on your resume, whatever it might be? If not Western Illinois, Harvard University. Is it really worth that? And finally, I want to leave you with a quote by Mike Rowe, who once said, "We are lending money we don't have to kids who can't pay it back to train them for jobs that no longer exist." And I think I'll just let that one speak for itself. It really does hit the nail on the head as to the college industry situation. So with that being said, thank you for joining me on this live video or podcast or whatever you want to call it. I am Matt Gerloff, signing off. Hope to see you out there.